Neoma was a bright and beautiful girl. People admired her intelligence and kindness. Her laughter could light up any room. But she had a big problem: she was always late. As a child, she woke up late every morning. She took her time eating breakfast. She strolled into school just as the morning assembly was ending. Her teachers scolded her many times. She always smiled and promised to do better. In secondary school, her lateness became worse. She was late for morning devotion, classes, and choir rehearsals. Even when she joined the choir, she arrived when the practice was almost over. One day, her best friend, Kyoma, asked, "Neoma, why are you always late?" "I don't know," Neoma replied with a laugh. "But at least I show up." Kyoma shook her head. "One day, this bad habit will cost you." Neoma didn't take it seriously. She missed many lessons and had to copy notes from classmates. During exams, she arrived late and rushed in just before the doors were locked. Her teachers warned her. Her parents advised her. Her friends got frustrated. But nothing changed. When Neoma got admission to the University of Port Harcourt, she was excited. She was ready to enjoy her freedom. But her lateness followed her. On her first day, she had an 8 a.m. lecture. She woke up late and took her time getting ready. She arrived at 9:30 a.m. By then, the lecturer was already rounding up. "And that brings us to the end of today's topic," he said. Neoma sighed and sat down. The girl beside her chuckled. "You're new, right? You better start coming early. The lecturers here don't joke with time." But Neoma never changed. She missed many lectures. Her group members got angry because she was always late for discussions. Even in church, she arrived just in time for the closing prayer. One Sunday, she promised her roommates she would go to church with them. Church started at 9 a.m. By 8:30 a.m., they were ready. "Neoma, are you coming?" one of them asked. "I'm right behind you," she replied. By the time she arrived, the service was ending. She sat beside her roommate, who sighed. "You will never change." "I will," Neoma said casually. "One day." But that day never came. During her final year, Neoma met Chijioke. He was everything she wanted in a man: handsome, wealthy, and kind. He was also disciplined and respected time. They met at a wedding. Chijioke was the best man. Neoma was a bridesmaid. As usual, she arrived late. Chijioke noticed her the moment she walked in. He liked her confidence and bright smile. They exchanged numbers and started talking. Soon, they became best of friends. But her lateness remained a problem. On their first date, they agreed to meet at a fancy restaurant at 6 p.m. Chijioke arrived at 5:50 p.m. By 6:30 p.m., he checked his watch. By 7 p.m., he sighed. At 7:45 p.m., Neoma finally walked in, smiling. "Sorry, my dear," she said sweetly. "I lost track of time." Chijioke shook his head. "Neoma, you need to take time seriously." I know, she laughed. "I will change." But she never did. It became a habit. Each time they had an outing, she arrived late. Chijioke was patient, but he often spoke to her about it. "Neoma, time is important. It shows respect for others. I love you, but I want you to improve." "I will," she always said. "Don't worry." But she never changed. Months later, they got engaged. They planned a grand wedding with many guests. Invitations were sent. The venue was booked. Everything was ready. On the wedding day, the church was beautifully decorated. Guests arrived early. Chijioke stood at the altar, waiting. The choir sang. The pastor glanced at his watch. But the bride was missing. Neoma had started her day late. Her makeup took too long. The photographer delayed her. Then, Lagos traffic made it worse. She arrived 4 hours late. When she rushed into the church, she expected to see a full hall. But the church was nearly empty. Only her parents and a few family members were there. "Where is everyone?" she asked, breathless. Chijioke looked at her with disappointment. "The guests got tired of waiting," he said softly. Neoma's hands trembled. "What about my friends?" she asked. "They left," her father said. "They waited, but they couldn't stay forever." Tears filled her eyes. She had ruined her own wedding. The reception was supposed to be grand. The hall was filled with food, drinks, and music. But it was silent. Only a few family friends were there, eating quietly. There was plenty to eat and drink. But no guests. Neoma stood at the entrance, frozen. Reality hit her like lightning. This was the moment she had dreamed of. But it had turned into a nightmare. She turned and ran outside. At the back of the hall was a small garden. She collapsed onto the grass, her wedding gown pooling around her. For the first time in her life, she wept bitterly. All the warnings. All the times people told her to change. She had ignored them all. And now, she had paid the price. Her wedding had come and gone. And she had missed it. As she sat in the garden, her mother walked up to her. She placed a gentle hand on Neoma's shoulder. "My daughter," she said softly, "lateness has always been your weakness." Neoma sniffed and wiped her tears. "I thought people would always wait for me." Her mother shook her head. "Time waits for no one, my dear." Chijioke stood at a distance, watching her. He loved her, but he was deeply hurt. He walked up to her and sighed. "Neoma, I don't know if I can keep doing this." Fear gripped her heart. "Please, don't leave me," she whispered. He looked into her teary eyes. "I love you, but love is not enough. Respecting time is also love." She broke down again, realizing she had taken everything for granted. The empty church. The abandoned reception hall. The disappointed faces. She had lost more than just a wedding. She had lost the trust of those who cared for her. For the first time, she wished she had listened. Here are 3 moral lessons from this video. 1. Patience and understanding in relationships. The story highlights the importance of patience and communication in marriage. Rushing into decisions or reacting impulsively can lead to regret. 2. The true meaning of love. Love is not just about grand or lavish ceremonies but about mutual respect, trust, and emotional support. A strong relationship is built on understanding, not just external celebrations. 3. Family support is important in difficult times. When life takes unexpected turns, having a supportive family can provide comfort and guidance. The mother's role in consoling her daughter reminds us of the importance of family bonds in overcoming hardships. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Love you all.